Hello guys, welcome to United's Glory. So Sergio Ramos, the captain of Real Madrid, wants to join Manchester United at the end of the season when his contract expires at Real Madrid. Now obviously the idea that we could sign Sergio Ramos is a very exciting prospect because he is a world-class centre-back, he is a leader and a winner. Most importantly, he is, a person who takes authority, and that's something Manchester United are definitely lacking, especially in that back line. Now, we've been there before with Sergio Ramos, a much younger Sergio Ramos, when, he was definitely worth quite a bit of money, but the situation is very, very different now. Now, obviously he's older, it doesn't necessarily mean he's got worse. He may have dropped off in pace a little bit, which is definitely a worry considering we'd want to partner him next to Harry Maguire. But, all of his abilities are still there and some attributes that, I just think Manchester United are missing, mostly on the mentality side. But the question remains is he just using Manchester United as per usual to get a better contract at Real Madrid? Apparently they're only offering him the same amount that he was earning before, and obviously in the latter years of his career, you can't blame him for trying to push up his last remaining wages because he is in the twilight years of his career. He is 34, he's turning 35 very soon. So, he really is running out of time, so you can't blame him for trying to get a better contract now. He's done it in the past anyway. I mean, you can't blame any players for trying to get a better contract. You've got to do what's best for you personally. But, would he suit Manchester United now? Our defence tends to get a lot of the blame when things go wrong. I think it gets too much blame. I think the defence are easy scapegoats, but I'm not going to pretend like it's a brilliant defence. We've seen some amazing defences in our time at Manchester United. Going back to the Bruce Pallister relationship, the Jaap Stam, Ronnie Johnson. Ronnie Johnson, a player who doesn't get enough credit today because he was a fantastic centre-half. That partnership. Then, of course, the Rio Ferdinand and Vidic partnership. We've also had other good centre-backs like Laurent Blanc, who came in the twilight careers and did well, for the most part anyway. So we've had plenty of good centre-back partnerships, and obviously we need to find the perfect balance now, because when we see Harry Maguire and Lindelof play together, they have that pace problem. It means we have to sit back in order to guise their weakness as when teams try to play the ball over the top. We can't push it up to the halfway line because they don't have that recovery pace. We've seen a massive improvement when we play Eric Bailly there because he has that recovery pace, and it feels like that partnership works more between Maguire and Eric Bailly rather than Harry Maguire and Lindelof. Now, Harry Maguire is the captain, and I would say he has the edge over Lindelof, but that's not me saying Lindelof's a bad defender at all. He's a very good defender. He can definitely hold his own for the most part, but it's just a matter of him suiting Harry Maguire and the fact that we are often forced to play on their counter-attack because of that deficit at the back. There's also the height problem with Lindelof as well, which can cause problems. But, like I said, he's a very good centre-back, and, we shouldn't really go in on Lindelof. But I do feel like the defence does get scapegoated for, I'm going to be honest, at times overrated attack, because the attackers can miss chances and get away with it. The defence make one mistake and, they're the next Judas. But, of course it can improve. You should always be looking at improving. And I look at that back line, and it's a relatively young back line. Shaw's not particularly old, and then we have Telles, and, that left backside, is really blossoming this season. I'd say that's one of the major positives of this season. Luke Shaw's form has gone from the usual 7 out of 10, which is average and not good enough for Manchester United. Now he's delivering 8 out of 10s, which is good enough for Manchester United. Then you've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. I believe he needs the same competition that Luke Shaw does, but, he's brilliant on one-on-ones. He's probably the best in the world at one-on-ones, but he does need to evolve his game, which is why I think we should use the same process with bringing a player like Telles in to compete with Shaw with Wan-Bissaka. But obviously, this video is about Sergio Ramos, and Ramos is a centre-back. I don't think he can come to the Premier League at his age and play right-back. So would Ramos be a good signing? Well, I think it kind of comes down to what other positions you feel we need and the actual value of these players are probably going to cost, and who is actually available as a centre-back. I think it was Jurgen Klopp that said the other day that there are no £80 million centre-backs available right now that you can bring in like a Van Dijk, and they'll change the way your team plays, etc. I think world football's a bit, lacking in terms of those truly world-class centre-backs. Obviously, people like to mention Koulibaly. Do you really want to be paying 60 to 80 million for a 29, 30-year-old? I don't think so. I think it's more in Manchester United's DNA to go for that younger one and build a player of Koulibaly's defensive ability themselves. Do we have that right now? Well, like I said, Lindelof's 26. Maguire's 27, turning 28. He's not exactly old. He's got his best years to go. Eric Bailly's 26 as well. He's still young. And if Eric Bailly could stay fit, I think he's probably our best centre-back personally. But, with Eric Bailly, he's just going to do something completely erratic and get himself injured. But we have Twanzebe as well, who's an up-and-coming centre-back who has a lot of potential. We'd need to give him more game time, and obviously Ramos would probably stop him getting more game time. But what Ramos would do is bring that experience into our back line, leadership as well, the ability to know how to win titles, aggressiveness. He won't lose his nerve like the Manchester United players have been doing in the last couple of games against Sheffield United and Arsenal. And he keeps going till the end. He's got goals in him from cut set pieces, lots of goals. Of course, he has the red card situation and gets sent off a lot. But, I don't mind players getting sent off a lot. I mean, I do. I'd rather they didn't get sent off. But at the end of the day, look how many times he's been sent off, but then look how many trophies he's won as well. I mean, we've had players like this in the past who were imperative to the fact that we won titles because they took authority, they were aggressive, and they wanted to win matches, which was often why they got sent off. But you look at the likes of Eric Cantona, sent off a lot. Roy Keane, sent off a lot. I mean, even Rooney and Ronaldo got sent off now and again as well. Look at Ramos's trophy cabinet. You can't say all those sending offs cost Real Madrid all those titles. It may have cost them a couple, but he's still won a lot, and he shows up when it matters. So for me, Ramos is a good signing if we do want to go for and fill the other positions and really get some top talent. We're still after Jadon Sancho by the looks of it. Hopefully we'll get him on a bit of a cut price now, and I think we need to sign Jack Grealish especially after these last two games. We need that kind of player with that mentality and that level of ability and skill put together, because I think what Manchester United really lack at the minute are players who take authority. It was severely lacking in the last two games. I'll keep saying it. They need more and more players that take authority. I know Cavani missed a sitter, but he doesn't go missing in games. Anthony Martial goes missing. Cavani's always present. He's always wanting the ball. He's always making the runs. I just feel like, especially in that forward line, we really need a leader up front. Not necessarily a captain of a team, but a leader. And Jack Grealish is that. He's the captain of Aston Villa. He would cost a lot of money though. But if we were to go for these kind of players, or even both, then obviously we can't afford to be going out spending 60 million on a centre-back. Other than Koulibaly, the other player that's often being mentioned is Upamecano. But he would cost 50, 60 million, and it looks like he's going to go to Bayern Munich. So is he really available? And is he really as good as Ramos? Potentially he could be, but there's still the risk there. A lot of players from the German league don't come to England and do particularly well. Just look at Chelsea at the moment, Havertz and Werner. I know it's a completely different position, but the leagues are completely different. Whereas with Ramos, if you get him for 3 or 2 years, the experience, it could work for us, especially in the mentality department. He doesn't have to play every game, but he can play a lot of games. I think an important point is that he doesn't want to come in on stupendous wages, like say an Alexis Sanchez, like 400 grand a week. If he wants to basically just come for the challenge of playing the Premier League in his twilight years and get paid well, then that's perfectly fine. I would sign him because I feel like we do need to fill those other positions that I just mentioned, as well as a defensive midfielder as well. People are talking about Declan Rice. I think we should sign Ruben Neves. I think he'd be a much cheaper alternative. I'll talk about that in another video another day. And I think we need a right back to compete with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but I don't think we need to overspend on that right back position. I just think we need a good right back. When you think about our outgoings as well, we'll be letting Dalot go, Rojo go, Jones go. Those wages for Ramos are covered really when you collate all the wages from those players. Romero's going as well. We don't need to bring another goalkeeper in. And then in the forward line, Jesse Lingard's likely going. Juan Mata's likely going. So there's plenty of money that should be brought in from the fact that we've let all these players go, as well as the fact that our net spend hasn't been that high over the last few years. it all depends whether the Glazers backers and, go for these players, and whether Ollie actually wants these players, because obviously this is just me speculating. But in terms of Sergio Ramos, providing he isn't really just using us to get a higher wage at Real Madrid, I think there's a lot of potential in making that deal. Even if he's only to be here for a year or 2 years, it gives our backline an extra couple of years to, really move up a level, or look into the market on a new up-and-coming, potentially world-class centre-back, because it's hard to find at the moment, or whether these people are available at the moment. So I just think it buys us an extra 2 years, as well as the fact that the likes of Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly can learn off somebody like Sergio Ramos. He's a winner. And, I think it's worked for our forward line bringing Cavani in, because he's a winner. And look, we've benefited this year from having Cavani in our team. Is something different. Why don't we do it at centre-back as well? Like I said, even our full-backs are young. So there's a lot of potential with this signing. I know a lot of people want to sign Koulibaly or Upamecano or another centre-back, but, it's going to take a big outlay in the current global economic situation. Do we have that money? I'd rather we get those players I mentioned earlier. Like, I really think we need Jack Grealish, even though I want us to get Jadon Sancho as well. But, if we're aggressive and ambitious enough, which is a big ask of the Glazers, but they're doing it for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now, maybe they'll be ambitious and get both of them, and a good defensive midfielder and a cheap right back to compete with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, get Sergio Ramos to compete with those centre-backs. We're strong in that regard. If we were to do something like that, really strong, I'd say ready to compete for European honours with that kind of team, because we do have a lot of talent, and talent isn't the problem. Talent isn't the problem at our club. I think it's mentality. The mentality is definitely shifting, it's definitely building, but it's not quite at the level as we've seen recently. When the going gets tough, the pressure's on. Are these players ready to step up? That's why I think a player like Sergio Ramos could come in and, help drive these players forward. And once they've got over that line once, they'll have the experience and know-how themselves. I mean, that's why Ferguson's teams kept winning and winning and winning. Even if another team came along that was really good, when it got to squeaky bum time, they fell apart despite how talented their teams were. Whereas Manchester United weren't just talented, they had that mentality to push through the final few weeks and, bring those titles home. So I think Ramos could do Manchester United a world of good, but it's really just about whether, he actually does want to come, or it's just, a load of rubbish for him to get a new contract. He's a baller. He's an absolute baller. The pace might be a problem, but, I want to see him up close before I judge his pace, because he might not have lost that much pace. But, he's got the positional whereabouts anyway to, cover that. Or, maybe if Harry Maguire gets injured, we still have a leader at the back and we can play next to Eric Bailly or somebody like that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Would you sign Sergio Ramos for Manchester United in the summer on a free? Let me know your thoughts. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. If you like talking about Manchester United and just like watching Manchester United discussions in general, then of course I believe you'll like this channel. And if you don't like it, then of course in a few days you can always unsubscribe. That's absolutely your choice. Do smash the like button if you think Sergio Ramos would be a good signing this summer. Until next time, talk to you soon.